Welcome back to the presidential popularity contest. All right, we've got the results of this week's matches. First up, we had Fillmore versus Eisenhower. Who did you like? Well, you liked Ike. Eisenhower wins it 20-3. Up next, we had Carter taking on Grant. Where? It was an unconditional surrender. Grant wins it 73-36. Finishing off with Taylor versus Truman, where the buck stops there. Truman wins it 72-14. All right, now we do not have the results of Taft versus George Herbert Walker Bush just yet. The polls are still open on that one. Last we checked, though, Senior Bush was beating Taft 20-4. Now, here's the thing. When we're looking over our records, we find out we already did this match. We already had Taft taking on Daddy Bush and beating him. So now we find ourselves in the dilemma, because now things are going to be the opposite way, where the previous winner is going to be the loser and the previous loser is going to be the winner. So do we count this match or not? If we count this match, it means both of these guys are going to have an extra match in their records. How do we put that, calculate that into the rankings? I don't know. Seeing how everyone else would be in less matches than them. So, if you've got any ideas, just put your answers in the comment section. Of course, we could always have a third match somewhere down the line and settle it once and for all. Well, I don't like doing these things twice, let alone 3 times. Okay, so that's it for now. Welcome to the presidential popularity contest. All right, up next, we've got Rutherford Hayes taking on George Herbert Walker Bush. Who do you think was a better president? Rutherford Hayes or George W.H. Bush? Vote now. We'll have the results on Monday. Welcome to the presidential popularity contest. And you can tell by that music our next competitor is going to be William Taft. And he's taking on Benjamin Harrison. Who do you think was a better president? Taft or Benjamin Harrison? Vote now. We'll have the results on Monday. Taft, Harrison, you decide. Welcome back to the presidential popularity contest. All right, let's just get into it. The results of our last 3 matches. In Taft versus George Herbert Walker Bush. Bush wins it 23-10. Now, that was an unintentional rematch with some consequences. We had Taft versus Bush before, where Taft won. So now, somewhere down the line, we're going to have them go up against one another in a third match to determine which one of them is going to be more popular. All right. So then, we had Hayes versus George W. Herbert Walker Bush. Bush wins that one 21-7. Then we had Taft versus Benjamin Harrison, where Taft won that one 37-33. And that was also an unintentional rematch. We had already had Taft versus Harrison, where Taft had already beaten Harrison. But due to some shoddy record keeping on my part, once again another rematch. All right. Yeah. Stay tuned for our next match. Well, that music can only mean one thing. William H. Taft is taking on another competitor here on the presidential popularity contest. Who's he taking on? That's right, Jimmy Carter. Who do you think was a better president? William H. Taft or Jimmy Carter? Vote now. We'll have the results on Wednesday. Taft versus Carter. You decide. Welcome back to the presidential popularity contest. All right, before we get into today's special matches, let's get the results of our last presidential popularity contest match between Jimmy Carter and Taft, where Carter wins it 26-24. All right, moving on. See how we are doing tic Oktoberfest here on the program, we decided to have ourselves a Kaiser popularity contest. Once again, there's a popularity contest for the Kaisers of the German Empire. Yesterday's match was between Wilhelm I and Wilhelm II. And by a score of 6-4, Wilhelm II has won that match. All right, let's see if Wilhelm I can do any better today as he takes on Kaiser Frederick. All right, you know the deal. Who do you think was a better Kaiser? Wilhelm I or Frederick? Vote now. We'll have the results tomorrow. Wilhelm I, Frederick, you decide.